Well, hello racing fans, and welcome to our Hollywoodbets Durbanville Gallop TV preview show for Saturday the 5th of October, and it's a double header, Hollywoodbets Durbanville and Turfentine at the Big T, where there's some feature races. But Graham Hawkins is on the line, and I trusted you, the valued racing fan, as well. Another bumper weekend for you to aim at when it comes to local horse racing, and of course all that alongside the many race meetings that are covered on Gallop TV from around the globe, early in the morning to late in the evening. So Graham Hawkins is on the line, and Graham, another bumper weekend for racing fans.
Indeed, yes, lots of racing, 10 races at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, a card that would normally immediately frighten you, 6 maiden plates and 4 low-grade races, but these maiden plates are quite interesting. A number of nice horses starting to emerge, and they're competitive races, and it's going to be really good racing, I think.
Okay, let's get straight into it. We begin at Turfentine at 11:50, race number 1, and at 12:05 will be Hollywoodbets Durbanville, the first race. Doesn't form part of the exotics, Graham, but hopefully we can try and build a kitty here in the first race if you have something for us to follow. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,000 meters. We are going in blind with a lot of the first-timers in the respective races, as Graham mentioned, on the maiden plates. But let's have a look at the betting. Horses in single figures as always. Number 1 at 11-2, number 2 at 33-10, 3 at 33-10, number 7 at 11-2, and 8 is trading at 9-2. Any of these first timers grab your attention here, Graham? Because I must admit, amongst the race runners, it wouldn't be a surprise if a first timer comes out to win.
Spot on, Dees. It's not a strong race form-wise, and a debutante can certainly win. Number 2, All the Boys I've Loved. Positive comments. Number 5, Catch a Penny, a daughter of Vercingetorix from the Glen Cotson stable. Positive comments. And then the beautifully bred number 7, Frida Kashlo from the Justin Smith stable. Also positive comments. So those in particular, those 3 newcomers all have positive comments emanating from their trainers. Number 1, Ship and Darney, cracks pole position, only had the 2 starts, last seen in May. Plenty of scope for improvement. Number 3, Rosa Aziria, brings arguably the best form into the race. It is KwaZulu-Natal maiden form, so she might be up against it here in the Western Cape, but she's got a nice draw and placed in her last 2 starts. Mrs. Shackleton, what you see is what you get, placed in her last 3, but she's a struggling 4-year-old. And number 11, Fleur de Ville, shocking last 2 runs, but judged on a previous form, must have a chance despite the wide draw. I'm expecting a first-timer to win it. Keep an eye on the market as we approach race time. It'll be interesting to see whether number 7, Frida Kashlo, actually shortens in the market. But for the moment, the one they respect most is Richard Paris Mount for Lucinda Woodruff, number 2, All the Boys I've Loved. Clearly on form, the one to beat, number 3, Rosa Aziria.
Okay, keep an eye on the betting with the first timers. Any follow through after this show, then possibly worth following a first timer here in race number 1. So we mentioned exotics, 10 races carded. We'll begin in race number 2. 12:40 is the time. It's the media maiden plate, or should I say Cape Racing on social media maiden plate over 1,000 meters. And here we go with the betting. Number 2 is trading at 3-1. It's Farid teaming up with Pit Bota. Then we got 5, Grim Graham. There's some action around this horse. Anti-post, Hollywoodbets, 7-2 into 28-10. Number 6 is at 33-10. That's a horse that I'm leading towards as my outright pick. 8 is at 9-2 and 10 at 11-2. You had to like the debuts of 2 runners here, Graham, numbers 6 and 10. I don't know if one of them is your top choice.
I've got healthy respect. As I said, these maiden plates are interesting. They're competitive, nice young horses starting out. Not necessarily their debuts, but certainly on form. Some of them have got a lot of upside, and that comment applies to number 6, Cork Bay, and number 10, Scottish Lynx, as you've mentioned. 5, Crim, finding support. Now, I know you're leaning towards Cork Bay. I'm going to give number 2, Fencing Captain, another chance. He finished a length in front of Cork Bay last time out. I've just got a suspicion that Cork Bay might want a little further than the fast 1,000-meter track. The forecast, by the way, unlike last week, sunny skies, temperatures in the low 30s. So it's going to be a sweltering afternoon at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and the track will have quickened up nicely from the rain last week. I just suspect that number 6, Cork Bay, might want a little further, but obviously with the benefit of that experience of the first run, there's every chance of finding a length on Fencing Captain, who's better drawn. The market support for Krim is interesting, last ran in June, and the same comment I had for Cork Bay I have for Krim. I just feel that 1,000 meters might find out the 3-year-old son of Vercingetorix. So I'm a little hesitant about the distance for both numbers 5, Krim, and 6, Cork Bay. Bagatelle Flash certainly has the form to win, also held by Fencing Captain on a different form line, the Dawn Till Dusk form line. And it was interesting last week that Dawn Till Dusk came out and ran a cracking second in his first start in handicap company, so that form line has been franked. Scottish Links, the worst of the draw, could need this run. There was market support on debut, so it was no surprise it ran third. It's a tricky start to the bipot. I'm going with numbers 2, Fencing Captain, 6, Cork Bay, and 5, Krim, because I don't think it's cut and dried, but my marginal first choice will be number 2, Fencing Captain, to again hold out number 6, Cork Bay, and number 5, Krim, who might just find 1,000 meters on the sharp side.
2, 6, and 5 for Graham. Play around those numbers, whatever bets you're taking, and if you're including all 3 in the bipot, you'll have every chance of doubling up. Place accumulator, race number 3, 13, 15, fillies and mares, maiden plate, 1,250 meters. And the betting, as we bring up the field, number 1 at 7-1. There is some action around the first timer here, Graham. Call Beach Queen. It's Nate and Van Niekerk, 8-1 into 6-1. Number 5 is at 9-2. Horse number 8, Champagne Kisses, the mount of Richard Foree, is at 5-2. Number 9, Special Glamour, at 5-2. 11 is a scratching. And there's some outside betting support here for Des McLaughlin's horse, Graham, a first timer, number 12, 40-1 into 20-1. And when I saw that claim, I just went over to the front of the computer form, which is the form guide I'm using, and wanting to see the comment there. And the comment from the yard is, showing good work, looking for a good run. So I fancy somebody thought after those comments, 40-1 looked generous, but we'll still have to come to the track and prove herself first up. What's your numbers for the PA?
Well, I'm going to take my chances in the place accumulator with number 8, Champagne Kisses. I think the step back from 1,400 meters to 1,250 meters is the key here. So I'm happy to bank a number 8, Champagne Kisses, as far as the place accumulator is concerned. But there are dangers, as you've mentioned. 1, Bittersweet, and 2, Newartsburg are both improvers. I wouldn't exclude either from your quartet calculations. You've mentioned number 3, Beach Queen, out of that wonderful race mare, Beach Beauty. Not only a champion race mare, but already a champion producer. If there's any follow through in the market for number 3, Beach Queen, then clearly the alarm bells will be sounding. The Vlugger, number 5, has got some form to recommend. You've mentioned the first timer, number 12, Viva Perle. It's not going to be easy for the daughter of Duke of Marmalade from that draw on debut, and she might be beaten for early speed, so I'll sit on the fence with number 12. And then the early favourite, number 9, Special Glamour. I'm concerned again about the distance. I'm concerned that she steps back from 1,400 meters, in which she raced over on her debut in 4th behind Golden Angel. I'm not convinced that for the daughter of Socrates out of a mare by Judbot, stepping back in trip is going to be in her favour. So I'm happy to take on the favourite, number 9, Special Glamour. I expect her to ease in the market, but of course it could be a competitive market. Money could come for Bittersweet, Newartsburg, Beach Queen, any of those runners. There could be follow through for number 12, Vivo Perle. But I'm going to rely on Champagne Kisses to get me through the place accumulator.
I think Graham is spot on there. 8 Champagne Kisses will be good enough for the PA if she doesn't find the winners in closure. And I must agree with Graham with number 9, Special Glamour. The drop in distance was my concern. Exactly. Pick 6, the big one. 2 pick 6s on the day. There is a carryover at the Big T if you want to play there. of R1 million to their pick six. Their estimated pool is 5 million. But I suspect there'll be lots of interest in the pick six at Hollywoodbets Durbanville as well. This is a maiden plate over 1,250 meters, where we have number 1 at 5-2. Horse number 3 at 11-2. Then we go on to number 4 at 9-2. 5 is at 11-2. Andre Nell's got some nice runners in the early part of our race meeting at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. It could be a stable to follow. Here's another one who debuted well, 7-2, finding a good finish. The son of Vercingetorix. Number 10 is at 8-1, and then it's double figures the balance. Pick six time, Graham. This race looks very competitive. There is some form to go around, horses that are improving. And I think when you look at the runners like Zit, Andre Nell's runner, you want to try and beat the horse, then you're going to have to cover with a few of them, Graham.
As you mentioned, lots to like about the debut of number 8 Seats, an impressive-looking grey son of Vercingetorix, likely to progress from that open maiden in which he made his debut, finishing second to Boundless Energy, who runs later on in this card for the first time in an open race. So I'm expecting a lot of improvement from Zeets, and he's certainly got to go onto the shortlist. Kumbra Vijay has been a bookmaker's friend, often backed, placed in all 7 starts. On this occasion, Dees, I think the step back in trip could be the master stroke. He had his first 3 starts over 1,200 meters, and they were all good. He continued to hold form over distances beyond that, but has been a costly horse to follow. His crack pole position, the blinkers stay on. Grant Vernicker rides for Vaughan Marshall. So I'm inclined to give number 1, Kumbra Vijay, another chance, but he is my second choice to number 8, Zeets. But plenty of improvement to come from number 3, Sikorsky. Number 4, Crescent, big improvement in its second start, will continue on an upward curve. You've got to have respect, especially as far as the pick six is concerned, for Mystic Majesty, Scottish Kiss, and watch out for a much better run from number 10, My Archangel. A lot of money on debut. There was a lot of talk about My Archangel on debut. I still think he might want to touch further. But Richard Fareed, the booking for Lucinda Woodruff, is significant. And so don't ignore the chances of number 10, My Archangel. But I think the winner could come from one of 2 runners. Numbers 1, Kumbra Vieja, and 8, Zeets. And if you're prepared to take your chances by narrowing it down to these 2 horses in the first leg of the pick six, I wouldn't put you off. But as I mentioned, there's some very nice sorts in the making, particularly Sikorsky and Crescent, and they could improve significantly.
Numbers 1 and 8 for Graham. If you're going to take a chance, minimize your spend. Those could be the 2 runners in leg 1 of the pick six. You find jockeys that are shuffling around the province, especially when you have double header meetings. And nice to see Athandiwe Mgutla get the chance for Eric Sands on Saturday at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He rides all Eric Sands runners. Race number 5 will be Jackpot 1, 1,400 meters, maiden plate, fillies and mares. Jackpot 1, race number 5, and Jackpot 2 will be race number 7. Number 2 at 7-1, Graham. Number 5 at 28-10. Horse number 8, Wild Applause. I just want your thoughts on what happened here with the riding arrangements, if you have one, Graham, because this is the mount of Richard Fareed, 18-10. Then we have number 14 at 33-10. Yeah. Any thought process or opinion on what happened here with Grant van Niekerk and Richard Fareed?
I don't have a honest answer, a truthful answer, a factual answer, but I think that Justin Slater is juggling the 2. So I think that he's trying to keep both happy. He wants to retain the services of Grant van Niekerk. That's pretty obvious over the last couple of weeks, months. But he also wants to retain interest from Richard Fareed. So I think he's juggling the 2. So Wild Applause is obviously off the back of that very good debut behind My Sensation, one for the shortlist, but there are 3 runners here that I think can win. Number 5, Berry's Boogie, a very well-bred Australian filly, ran second behind I'm So Pretty. The extra is definitely going to be in her favour. You mentioned that Andre Nell has got some nice runners. I think that despite the wide draw, number 14, Tuscan Romance, is a big runner. Has finished second in all 3 starts to date. She might just have needed a last run. Not going to be easy from that draw, but I think you can take your chances in jackpots and pick sixes with number numbers 5, Berry's Boogie, 8, Wild Applause, and 14, Tuscan Romance. That being said, clearly number 2, Double Dash. I mean, the Des McLaughlin stable was the cause of that huge upset, which led to a pick 6 carryover last week. So the stable back in form. White Waters ran a better race last time out. I suspect this is stronger company, though, so I'm going to have to improve further on that effort behind My Only Weakness, because I think Berry's Boogie, Wild Applause, and Tuscan Romance represent stronger form than My Only Weakness. But that being said, if White Waters is ridden the same way with restraint, held up for a late charge, then the Daughter of Erupt could come through. So I'm leaning towards number 14, Tuscan Romance, at the expense of number 8, Wild Applause. I might have that wrong, with number 5, Berry's Boogie, my third choice, but all three definitely need to go into All Exotics.
Okay, Graham thinks it's going to be a form result here with horses that dominate the betting. In numerical order, 5, 8, and 14, but he is siding with number 14 as possibly his top pick. Race number 6 is over 1,400 meters, and we will bring up the field and have a look at some betting. Number 2, Out of the Stars. She is trading at 22 to 10. Then we got number 3, Fly to Rio, who won at a big price last time out. She's now a 5 to 2 shot. Moving along to number 7 at 8 to 1. And number 11 is a scratching, and 12 is at 4 to 1. Yeah, fillies and mares taking on the colts and geldings, Graham, in this middle stakes. I don't know how you see it, but if I had to choose my roving banker in the race, it's going to be the obvious horse here, Graham. Horse number 2, Out of the Stars. But I don't know if I can give you all the confidence in the world to possibly banker. Maybe the PA, but not anything else.
Yeah, it's one of these races, a Cape D stakes for horses with a net merit rating of 64 and below, the average rating 61. This is the kind of race where you can expect any kind of a result. But I think that we're going to have to rely on the form book. Number 2, Hang Out the Stars, clearly deserves its position at the top of the boards, but you've got to again respect number 3, Fly to Rio. That combination of Grant Van Niekerk and Greg Enion continued to do well. They won the last race the other evening at Hollywoodbets Durbanville last Saturday with Veronica. At Veronica and Fly to Rio, there's never really been much to choose between them. 12 Trace Chick has clearly been disappointing, has got the worst of the draw, but the form is good enough to warrant respect. So those are the 3, with a preference perhaps for number 2, Hang Out the Stars. But if there's to be one horse that I'm going to throw in just to get that upset result, or give me a chance to get that upset result, it's going to be number 10, Rouge Ruin from the Candice Bass stable. It's more a gut feeling than anything else. So in the exotics, jackpots and pick sixes, I'm going 2, 3, 10, and 12. I'm going to throw in number 10 as a potential upset. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was a massive turnaround of form here, because, as you say, these are very limited performers. Hang Out the Stars, the favourite, is a one-time winner from 21 starts. Her last effort was the best in a while. And it's interesting that Richard Faree, who's ridden their last 2 starts, retains the right. So he obviously feels that there is a win imminent from the 5-year-old Daughter of Karari, but it's obviously, by definition, not a strong race.
That'll be a good result, Graham. If 10 has to come through at 12 to 1, you will certainly drop a lot of tickets here. So that could be a nice roughie to include in all bets, horse number 10. Then we go on to Jackpot 2 with the 10 races carded. It will begin in race number 7, 1,400 meters the distance. Number 2, oh, Graham, 5 to 1. Then we go on to number 4 at 9 to 2. Number 7 at 4 to 1. 9 is at 3 to 1. And 11 is at 7 to 1. Well, you heard Graham chuckle there when I went to number 2, Das Goed, because we both liked the horse last time out. But I must compliment Graham. He did override and say Radicchio over Das Goed, so he was spot on. But nevertheless, that was a good run from this horse, Graham, and he's just knocking hard on the door now.
Yeah, you've got to give him another chance in this class. This is again, on this 10 race card in terms of class, the highest grade race on the program. But as I said, we've got so many interesting maidens. It's going to good day's racing nonetheless. Crack gate number 2, desperately unlucky not to, well, I say unlucky, the two of them pulled 5 lengths clear of the balance of the field, so Radicchio beat him on merit that day, but a winner's imminent. Does Good will have every chance, but this is a competitive Class 4 handicap, as most Class 4 handicaps are. Please be true, still more to come. Watch out for a better run from Numzan. He had his first run after nearly a year's absence last time out. He led for a long way. He'll strip a fitter horse. He's at quite attractive odds from an each-way play perspective. I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see Numzan in the frame. We mentioned Zeets earlier. Well, his conqueror of last time, Boundless Energy, steps into handicap company for the first time. He is beautifully bred. He was a R1 million yearling. He could be absolutely anything and good enough to blow this field away. I think the fact that he steps up from 1,250 meters to 1,400 meters is certainly in his favor. One liner. Ran a very good second start after winning on debut way back in June. The other day he came out and ran second to King of Spin and the Son of One World. Also lightly raced 3-year-old, unexposed, and certainly heading in the right direction. The two solid performers, Augusta Blue and Spirits Unite, there was only a short head between them last time out. They're both drawn poorly in this race. They both step up a division. But of the lower weight this time, they should be competitive. And I don't think you can really split Augusta Blue and Spirits Unite. So it's a typically competitive Class 4 handicap, but I'm in the camp of Dasgoot to get it right for us this time.
Number 2, does good to go one better here. And Graham, just reading in between the lines, numbers 2, 4, 6, and 9 are the runners that he's given a chance to. I'm just going to include one more runner at number 5 as a choice in Jackpot 2. So that is race number 7. Race number 8, betting here in this 1,250 meter race. She's my captain at 7-2. Michelle Riggs, Harold Crawford. The stable is coming to hand after their stint during our KZN champion season. They have settled in nicely back home. Horse number 4 at 4-1. 5 is at 8-1. 6 at 9-2. Horse number 7 is at 5-1. And then number 8, Great Cat. That is the 4-1 shot. And Great Cat does bring some solid form into the race. The one concern and the obvious concern, the glaring concern, Graham, which she's my captain, it will have to be the distance.
Yeah, I think she's more effective, clearly over 1,000 meters. She's, but the fact is she goes so well for Richard Fourie. She's won 6 races. And Richard Fourie has ridden her 5 times. He's cracked a gate. So it's going to be interesting to see how Richard Fourie rides her, whether he tries to conserve her, because there's no doubting that she's better over 1,000 meters. But as I mentioned, you go around a tight corner. The track is running fast. You've got to be in the vanguard. Not sure if there'll be any kind of a wind. Last week there was a very strong tailwind to help them home, but it is, as I say, going to be a very warm afternoon. She looks pretty well handicapped in this race with 60.5 on her back for a 6-time winner. In contrast to Omikami, who won so well on debut, has been given a rating of 92, and as a young 3-year-old one-time winner receives only 1.5 kilos from She's My Captain. I think Omikami is going to find the going a little bit tougher this time around. The form hasn't stood up. There have been no winners from 8 runners, no direct winners from 8 runners. Pink Moon is still in the maiden. So Omikami, clearly a very nice filly, a young filly along with number 7, Dark Winter. Better days are ahead. Dark Winter, of course, twice a winner. She's been running against much stronger. The blinkers come off Dark Winter, which is interesting. She might just need this run. La Divina's got a chance. And as you mentioned, Great Cat, very game, very consistent. So I'm in the camp of the older horses this time around. I'm going to go with number 2, She's My Captain, as my top choice ahead of number 8, Great Cat. These are my top 2 choices. Healthy Respect for 4, Omikami, 6, La Divina, and 7, Dark Winter. But I'm not really expecting a blowout result here.
Okay, you heard it from Graham. He's given you some horses to play around, but possibly numbers 2 and 8 could be the principals in a bet like a place accumulator. But Jackpot 2, it's either short or wide here in race number 8, and you're going to have to be the judge after those comments from Graham. Race number 9, 1,600 meters, fillies and mares. I like the look of this race, Graham, because It's the last leg of the Pick 6 and the Place Accumulator, penultimate race leg of Jackpot 2. Number 1 at 5-2. Blinkers on for Greg Enion's runner, and he has engaged the services of Grant Fanikak, who has partnered this horse before February, which was a 4th. Horse number 4 is at 7-1. Number 5, the recent maiden winner. Maybe Graham can shed more light on how he thinks that this filly will go out the maidens at 5-2. 6 Kinky Boots, that's 61.5 kgs at 11-2. I mentioned that because joint top weight with horse number 9. And number 7 is at 8-1. And number 9 at 8-1. Graham, I said I like the look of this race because maybe the blinkers for Glee Club could be the answer here, Graham.
This time I'm in your camp, Dees. I know you were very strong in Glee Club last time out on the 14th of September. I was a lot less confident on that occasion than you were. She ran a nice enough race in 4th position. She's holding form. I think the blinkers are the master stroke. The addition of blinkers is the master stroke for number 1 Glee Club. So this time around, I'm quite firmly in the camp of number 1 Glee Club. She's drawn in pole position. I expect the blinkers to get interested in the race a lot sooner and help her all the way through to the line. But of course, it is an unknown as to what effect the blinkers might have on number 1 Glee Club. We're expecting a positive effect, but sometimes those things don't always work out that way. So there are 2 other runners that I think we need to hedge our bets with. Number 6, Kinky Boots, you said top weight 61.5, and that's absolutely correct. Obviously, I think this daughter of Master of My Fate is going to run a much better race, and she goes into my play along with the recent maiden winner, number 5, Pentalina. She's going to have to step up on her form, there's no doubt about that, but she might have more to offer. She's nicely bred, and it doesn't do any harm that Richard Ferree retains a right for Vaughan Marshfield to have a fantastic strike rate as a team. That is not to say that there are not others with winning chances in what is quite a competitive Cape Sea Stakes race, the likes of Grandiosa, Catalan, and Could It Be? But I'm going to push them to the sidelines and go with only 3 runners in order of preference. 1 Glee Club, 6 Kinky Boots, and 5 Pentalina. And I'm expecting Glee Club to win this time round, Dees.
Okay, let's hope so for our racing fans out there that Glee Club could be maybe generously priced up at 5-2 for your all to comes, and whatever bets you are taking, you could be closing something big there in race number 9. Race number 10, 1600 meters. Maiden Pledge is how we end things off, Graham, and I will tell you what's happening with the betting market at the time of recording. As always, we remind you it is done a day before. Number 1 is at 9-2. Horse number 3 at 7-2. Then we go on to number 7 at 4-1, number 11 at 6-1, and this horse of Candace Bass Robinson. What did you make of that debut run, Graham? That's the 9-2 shot, because it was very friendly and in fact drifted out badly come race time to 25-1. But that was a horse that I'm going to say came under the radar at 25-1 with a good debut.
Very good debut. Not going to be easy from draw 13, that's for certain. Half-brother to Red Palace, so beautifully bred. Anthony Andrews retains the right for Candace Bass Robinson. You've got to have healthy respect for number 13, Marine Merchant, despite the fact that he's drawn worst of all. Happy Days, Dees. We gave that a lot of airtime last time, and it was an expensive failure as an experiment to take the blinkers off him because he was lost in the race throughout. He was back from 9-4 to 14 to 10. The blinkers go back on. So Richard Ferree goes on for the first time on this 3-year-old son of One World. The blinkers go back on, and I'm expecting Happy Days to certainly make his presence felt this time around. I think that we were all waiting for Happy Days for a late declaration to come through last time and for the blinkers to be added on. That never happened, and he ran no kind of a race at all. He's got to run better here with the blinkers refitted, but he ain't no good thing, that's for sure. 006 and Juerda Flute, not much to choose between them on the form behind On My Honor. They deserve a mention, as does Late December, who's done enough to suggest that he's certainly going to progress well beyond maiden ranks. Black Cherry is interesting. You know, he reappeared in May after nearly a 2-year absence. So they persevered with this 5-year-old son of Rafif, and you don't persevere like that with a horse that's never shown you any kind of ability. Steps up to 1,600 meters, so his comeback run was over 1,200. His next start was over 1,400. Steps up to 1,600 meters, cracked a good draw. Watch out for number 2, Black Cherry, because he could be much better than his current form suggests. So it's a competitive end to a good day's racing, I feel. A Marine Merchant is one certainly to keep an eye on. I'm going to marginally be in the camp of number 7, Joueur de Flute, ahead of number 1, 006 and 3, Happy Days. But this is very competitive, and if you're playing Jackpot 2 and you're getting through to the last leg, I would suggest you include all of numbers 1, 2, 3, 7, 11 and 13.
Well, if Graham is right, it could be a nice end to the day for the visiting jockey Atandiwe Mgutla, who's there to ride for Eric Sands on horse number 7. Graham, before we hand over to you for your suggested bet, I've just done a quick in-running pick 6, listening to you, jotting down some numbers, and it's an inexpensive perm. And racing fans, please use this as a skeleton around your numbers. This is the in-running Gallop TV pick 6 that I've jotted down for Hollywoodbets Durbanville, which starts off in race number 4. Numbers 1 and 8, bar 5, 8 and 14, bar 2, 3, 10 and 12, bar 2, 4, 6, 9, and I've just added number 5 there, rule of thumb as a choice, bar 2, 4, 6, 7 and 8, bar 1, 5 and 6. And I mentioned inexpensive because 180 Rand will get you 10%, and hopefully some of those numbers that Graham has suggested will fall into place along with your numbers for that pick 6. Graham, over to you for your suggested bet.
Gone with the place accumulator, and as we mentioned, I'm taking my chances with number 8, Champagne Kisses, in the first leg, race 3, which goes over to 1:15 to at least find a way into the top 3 by 1 and 8, by 8 and 14, by 2, 3 and 10. That's Hang Out the Stars, Fly to Rio. I've thrown in Rouge de Ruin just in case we can get a result there. By 2, 4, 6 and 9. By 2 and 8 in the penultimate leg, She's My Captain and Great Cat. And we close out in the final leg with numbers 1, 5 and 6, Glee Club, who's the top choice, Pentalina and Kinky Boots.
Thanks for your time, Graham, and good weekend to yourself and all the racing fans.
Thank you, Dees. Go well. Enjoy the weekend.
And that is it, our Hollywoodbets Durbanville preview show with Graham Hawkins. And to you, the valued racing fan, on behalf of the team at Gallop TV, Graham Hawkins, myself, Dees Diner, and have a blast, find all the winners, and hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful, profitable day for you if you're racing at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.